Now, Qatar says its citizens and residents won't face economic hardship despite the embargo imposed by its Gulf neighbours Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain. Here's how sea, air and land restrictions are playing out right now. Qatar's a tiny desert nation that relies heavily on imports. A significant quantity of food was coming in from its only land border with Saudi Arabia. Qatar's foreign minister puts the figure at 16%. Now, trucks carrying food were stuck on the Saudi side, unable to get in. The transport route is also important for construction materials needed for the energy industry and to help Qatar prepare for the 2022 Football World Cup. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Egypt and Bahrain have blocked Qatar Airways from using the airspace around their country, so the airline is now using alternative routes. The suspension of flights to and from Qatar has affected thousands of businesses and business passengers. People travelling to their home countries, they've been forced to take much longer routes. Now, Saudi and the UAE ports are blocking Qatari-flagged vessels and ships, and that's affected aluminium exports from the Qatalum plant, which produces more than 600,000 tonnes of the metal a year. But the plant owners say that they've found new sea routes. And Qatari-owned sports channel beIN and this network, Al Jazeera, have been blocked in the UAE, and both websites are also unavailable in that country and Saudi Arabia. beIN has the sole rights in the Middle East to broadcast major sporting events like the English Premier League and the tennis French Open. Well, joining us here in Doha is Abdulaziz al-Horr, who is the CEO of Qatar Finance and Business Academy, a group focusing on training professionals in the finance and banking sectors. Welcome to Counting the Cost. Of course, Qatar shares a land border with Saudi Arabia. That's now closed because of this crisis, as people are calling it. What impact is that going to have, particularly on supplies, groceries, food, basic staples that people rely on that come across the border from Saudi Arabia? This
is not the first crisis Qatar goes through. From 2008 to 2014 to 2016, Qatar has gone through a different regional and global crisis. Therefore, and since that time, Qatar has developed a contingency and emergency plan, to deal with such a kind of crisis. Therefore, in terms of food and supply, I don't think Qatar is facing a serious problem over there. Although 33% of what we import from Saudi Arabia is the food and animal products and dairy products. However, for Qatar to find an alternative suppliers, it's much easier than Saudis to find alternative clients in this period of time.
What about construction material, though? Of course, Qatar preparing for the World Cup in 2022. A lot of big construction projects going on here at the moment. The metro, there's the World Cup stadiums, all of the accommodation that's being built here. A lot of that construction material comes across the border too.
It's opposite. Actually, most of the construction material comes through Hamad port, not through the Saudis port. Although some steel and some materials, but very minimal materials come through the border. The second point, most of the companies who are doing the infrastructure for the metro and for the World Cup 2022 are an international companies, companies who have a different and secure supply chain.
What about Qatar Airways, the national carrier? It's been restricted from flying through Saudi, Bahraini, UAE airspace. It's having to take different routes out of the country to all its international destinations. And of course, it can't fly to anywhere in the UAE, Saudi Arabia or to Bahrain. What impact is that going to have on Qatar Airways' bottom line?
Actually, there was an impact in the first 1 or 2 days till Qatar Airways assured everybody that they rerouted their destination. The only impact on the destinations, the 4 destinations that are included in the sanction. Yes, there will be some marginal financial impact, increase of maybe a fuel consumption or something like this. But let me tell you this. for example, for the United Arab Emirates airline, they announced that they are bleeding by 82% before even the sanction. Just imagine, I mean, losing also an extra destination and extra travels.
Yes, it's not just Qatar Airways that can't fly. Etihad and Emirates can't fly to Doha.
Therefore, I hope that everybody will think of the global and regional effect and impact of this.
What about stock markets and the Qatari rial? Stocks fell when the crisis began to develop. By Thursday, they were back up again. What is the wider impact going to be on Qatar's economy and this sovereign wealth fund that it's got, the huge investments that it's made right around the world?
You know that stock markets are very sensitive for bad news and for good news. Therefore, first day there was a panicking, there was a fall of the price, not only in Qatar stock exchange, but in the whole region as well. Second day started to pick up. Thursday, it's limit up. I mean, the volume of orders I have seen on Thursday, I have not seen for a long time.
So why do you think people are so optimistic? What's behind this bullish attitude?
Because now they are aware of the contingency plan that this country has made, the measures. Even in the groceries, there was first hours of the announcement, there was a little bit of panicking. And you know, that panic breeds panic, but this did not happen. Business as usual. Hypermarkets as usual, food supply is as usual. So this country has done its homework, actually.
All right, what about the threat to Qatar's major export, its main export, and that is liquefied natural gas?
All the routes for the LNG is secured. ExxonMobil announced this. The government has announced this. You know that Qatar exports around 80 billion US dollars. Japan #1, Korea number 2, China, India. The whole GCC represents only 12% of the whole export exercise of Qatar. For the import, the whole GCC represents only 5.5%.
All right, so you're pretty confident that Qatar can weather this storm, its economy can weather this storm, and that the country is very much still open for business?
Still business as usual. You just refer to the sovereign fund. Sovereign fund is a strategic fund, does not get affected by an emerging crisis or something like this. Now, Turkey has announced their willingness to cooperate and opening their ports. Iran has announced their willingness to open their ports and to extend cooperation.
Okay, well, let's hope that this crisis can be resolved as soon as possible.
I'm confident. It requires dialogue and dialogue and dialogue.
All right, we'll leave it there. Abdulaziz, al-Horr, many thanks indeed for being with us.